After the sacrifice, the running, and the running out of Arthur's money, the Marstons returned to the southeastern states some years after John escaped the Pinkertons and reunited with his family, having been thought dead. And speaking of death, this is the reason the Marstons are moving yet again.
That was close. Too close. We brought that trouble on ourselves.
By we, you mean me.
It wasn't me who went and shot him.
Seemed like he deserved shooting.
I'm sure he did. But I've been thinking, ain't it about time you stop being the man making them decisions?
I'm trying.
Are you?
I think so.
I gotta find someplace to lay low. Keep quiet.
This exchange feels like a summary of the past 8 years. John cannot suppress his violence and settle down, so neither can his family.
Come on, John. Please, try.
Try what?
We gotta live somewhere for more than just a few weeks.
Okay. Let's see what we can find in Strawberry. What do you know about Strawberry?
I know they like good, honest, hard-working men a whole lot more than angry killers. So make yourself good and honest.
I'm always honest. Maybe not always good, but I'm always honest.
To think, with all that money divvied up at Copperhead Landing, not to mention again Arthur's satchel loaded with cash, and the Marstons still couldn't find a peaceful living, it speaks volumes about John's behavior. One of the reasons, as a player, that I'm fine with the cash not carrying over. It paints the greater picture of their predicament. All flee and no stay makes Jack a dull boy.
Boy?
Sorry, sir. What was that?
I said you're a bad influence. On your mother. With your books.
By the way, we know that it's been 8 years because 4-year-old Jack is now 12. Anyways, Abigail can't read, so Jack does the reading for her, and this fact gives us one of the cutest quotes in the entire game.
I bet that sign says strawberry, don't it? I got a good feeling about this place.
When they park in front of the general store, John remarks about the kind of low-class jobs that he might find.
I'm gonna go see what kind of good, honest work I can find. Grave digging or polishing some rich fella's boots or some such.
Me too. See if me and the boy can find some laundry work or something.
Notice how Abigail isn't fazed by his sarcasm. She's completely sincere with pursuing this stable, normal life, no matter how boring or besmirched the work may be.
Hey, how you getting on?
I found some work.
Me too.
Delivering goods out to some ranch.
Cleaning a doctor's surgery.
Fine living.
It is, John. Oh, it is. This is the way to it.
I'll take your word on that.
John's reluctance toward the work might be an attempt to relate with the player at this point in the game. The high-speed train robbery combined with the 2 shooting galleries in the same final mission leaves the player with heavy emotions that they still have not processed by the time they get back on the wagon to deliver the goods to the Gettys. A task which encourages you to take your time because those supplies have physics and can fall out if you're too reckless. It might feel jarring, boring even, but this long delivery trip acts as the emotional landing pad for players still mourning Arthur. Like when a flipbook has extra pages, it gives you time to know that it's over. You're given time to think about where you're going and how this game will make the transition into the first Red Dead Redemption. When John arrives at Mr. Getty's ranch, we have our answer. As soon as he gets there, his wagon is stolen by paid thugs from another nearby ranch, and because he didn't have a choice, John chases them down and returns the supplies with ease. As much as John attempts to live the life that avoids violence, violence keeps finding him, and when it does, he always responds in kind. Same old story, except this time, the aggressive action is actually what secures the Marstons a home at this ranch. Despite the extra mouths to feed, the overseer, Mr. Dickens, is willing to give Jim Milton a chance. Not just for his family's security, but also a chance for John to reform his ways. This is the framing for how John enters the new cabin at Regional Animal Ranch. Pronghorn Ranch. Like before, I've unpacked the meanings of the names of these campsites per chapter, but we finally reached the campsite with a basically meaningless name. Unless... The one thing I found fascinating about pronghorns is the fact that they are from the family Antilocaprati. But unlike their closest cousins on the evolutionary tree, the only surviving species of this family is the pronghorn, the American antelope-esque creature found exclusively in the West. I don't know if this fact was taken into account when naming this new location, but let's consider it anyways. All other relatives are on the path of extinction? Then what is the way out for the Marstons? What if The only way for this family of the West to survive was to go down the path of the pronghorn. Is this kind of evolution possible for them? Well, how hard could it be?
Can't herd, can't swim.
Give it a rest, will you?
Turns out he can't do a lot of things.
You fine with milking?
You know, I ain't really done much of it. Could never really get the hang of it.
You serious, mister?
You know much about birthing a foal, Milton?
Not too much.
My God.
Know much about fence building?
Not really.
Can't build a fence, can't milk a cow, ain't used to shoveling shits, but took on a gang of robbers single-handed.
Guess we all got our peculiarities, Mr. Dickens.
Yeah, makes me wonder just who would have robbed you.
And it doesn't help that he flubbed his introductions with the boss.
John, Jim, Milton. Thank you for the opportunity, sir. You and Mr. Dickens.
Well, you work hard. You be honest, you'll get your keep, I promise you that.
Boy has a family.
Oh, lucky man. Then you better work extra hard.
You hear that, John Jim? Extra hard.
With Mr. Dickens catching on quickly that this new hand who called himself real honest is not being real honest, the overseer is more upfront about his distrust, which compels this, and I'm just being objective here, murderous thief to defend his dignity and right to remain at the ranch.
I was raised to take a man at his word, and also to believe this is a free country. So free that I can't tell you what to think. So I guess it don't much matter what you believe. But I will work hard, and I learn fast.
Okay.
With this air of distrust and the violent tendencies still finding excuses to be unleashed, this first camp in the epilogue felt to me like the halfway house. The place where convicted criminals are moved to teach them right living and hopefully reintroduce them into society. An institution for second chances, albeit with limited liberty. Although John has the freedom to leave and see if those maps really lead to treasure, there's not much incentive or real point in doing so at this time. John wants to prove himself to his new boss, and especially his family. As much as he hates it, John wants to do right by Abigail by doing the crap work, which occasionally is literal.
Look at this horse shit.
Oh, it splashes.
He also tries to raise Jack better, but he's kind of an idiot when it comes to fatherhood. At least he tries. Thing is, these deficiencies would be a lot easier to overcome if it wasn't for the Laramie boys causing so much trouble.
You want to watch your mouth, boy.
Leave him alone. Get out of here.
How fancy pants Getty's paying you to be tough for him, huh?
No, he's paying me to keep the place clean. Said he had some problems with vermin.
Get off that man! Get off him!
He hit me first.
Stop acting like a goddamn storybook hero, will ya?
What choice did I have?
Plenty, you moron. Plenty.
Even worse for John Jim's familial reputation is when Abel Atherton's thugs assault Pronghorn Ranch and rustle their cattle. John, who didn't have a choice, saves Mr. Dickens from two thugs by being the hired hand who compels them to catch his.
You put him down, all right.
You men okay?
I think so.
Jim Milton saved my life. It's Mr. Abel.
Yeah, of course, it's Mr. Abel. I can't believe he thinks he can scare me out of here.
Then I guess we're getting your cattle back,
I guess
sir.
we are. Can you go too, Tom?
Of course, sir.
All right, Jim. I know you can handle yourself.
A little.
Go get your guns and head out.
Guns.
Oh, don't play coy with me, son. We need your help. I don't care what you used to do or what your name is. This is the land of second chances.
Understood.
Okay.
When John returns to his cabin, he tells Abigail what happened.
What was it?
Mr. Getty's cattle was taken.
I'm sorry to hear that.
She acts as if the civilized thing to do right now is simply to feel sorry for the victim. But John's response is to be the hero she specifically didn't want him to be, finding an excellent excuse to retaliate with brutality, you know, as men do.
Mr. Getty's been real good to us.
What are you doing?
My job, Abigail. My goddamn job.
So Jim, with Dickens and Abe, ride out to Hanging Dog Ranch. I uninstall the mod that removes the auto-equipping of two-handed weapons, and Jim Milton rides again.
We're shooting then.
Inside the barn is where the second fistfight with definitely not Stephen Ogg takes place, and the cover art for the first Red Dead Redemption is recreated.
Hey, tell her I'll let her in my seats.
John then sobers up to the mess that he made.
Shit.
Almost like he regrets the adventure his shotgun took him. You know, as men do. Anyways, he returns home with the good news, which according to Abigail is bad news.
What? What? What choice did I have? Just answer me that. What was I supposed to do?
Try as he might, he cannot escape the fight. Even when John is trying to do the most mundane tasks, it still places him in violent scenarios. He can't even pick up the mail without shooting a feller.
Did you kill a fella out in Roanoke a few months back?
No. Wasn't me.
That was my brother.
I'm real sorry, friend, but he was trying to rob me.
You're talking bullshit, mister!
Now, normally, I think this mission might be the more popular option to do first, since Jim Milton rides again feels like a better climactic transition out of this section of the epilogue. But personally, I recommend doing Fatherhood for Idiots as the final mission before the transition, as it makes more sense as a final straw for Abigail.
I've tried everything I know to make you grow up. And you know I love you, but loving you means I can't watch you do this. Time after time, we've had to run because of your behavior and your decisions.
Plus, if you do the mail mission first, you'll miss out on this flashback of the sheep and the goats conversation with Arthur.
Look, just do one thing or another. Not be two people at once. That's all I'm saying.
Forget swimming. Going straight is the one thing John cannot do.
I've gone straight.
Oh, bull crap.
No, for real. Well, I'm trying.
It's even in the music. Like, listen, his theme song is dying to come alive again.
Come back here!
He was bound for this Red Dead relapse. Which honestly, that sums up the entire epilogue. But instead of losing his house due to his behavior, John loses his home.
Where's the wife, Milton?
She's out.
I saw her leaving with the boy. And the bags. What's going on?
You married, Mr. Dickens?
No.
That don't surprise me.
But instead of leaving...
There's work to be done. Unless you're running off too.
I ain't going nowhere. I'm here to work. Gotta save money, get her what she wants.
John stays on to complete his work. His sentence, perhaps, a few months later. Before he can prove himself to Abigail, he must prove himself to Pronghorn Ranch. So, after all that beard, how did he do?
Hey, you know, I was wrong about you. Turned into a fine worker, Jim Milton.
Oh, thank you. Means a lot. Hey, you think I could speak with Mr. Geddes? See if maybe he's open to offering me some guidance?
I'm sure he'd be happy to hear you speak, at least.
Thank you, Mr. Dickens.
John Jim earned this reputation, and so he takes a chance on the man who took a chance on him, asking for the means to prove to Abigail that this new reputation as a hardworking man is authentic.
Do you believe a man can change, sir?
Where is this heading?
Guess I don't know. I've tried to be a good hand. I've worked hard to secure your property.
And for that, we are grateful.
And you've paid me well besides. The thing is, I suppose, I need to get a place of my own, so I can prove to my wife that I've changed.
I understand.
But I ain't got much money. I ain't asking to borrow none. But maybe you could go to the bank and put in a good word so they could give me a loan?
A loan, huh?
And how might a loan help with making things right with his wife?
I was reading about a old ranch, Beecher's Hope, down by Blackwater.
Was you?
Well, Jack read it to me, but I thought maybe we could raise some money. Bank could lend us the rest. We could be happy, John.
Bank loans? So I can buy that place, Beecher's Hope?
Yes, I know it.
As best as he can, John commits to this dream. He goes to the bank, clears out the land, signs the papers, and runs into Uncle?
The very same. Come here.
As best as he can, his efforts to be a better man are reflected in the land Abigail planned. The result of this confirmed purchase is a less than ideal idea of a home.
What do you think?
Why exactly did you buy this dump?
For Abigail?
Why? Is she an idiot? No.
The house is garbage. The land is rocky and dry, not the kind of place you'd think to make food in.
What are we going to farm here? Rocks?
And in terms of money, we have no money. But as useless as Uncle has been and still is when it comes to physical labor, he is the sole reason John will succeed with this purchase.
We?
You don't have a hope here without a wise hand at the tiller.
Enough of that. Get out of here. On your way.
No, you're stuck with me. Seems I'm stuck with you. John, the rock farmer.
And these are the conditions of the transition into part 2 of the epilogue, Beecher's Hope, the final part of the entire game. We're halfway through the ending, but even when John buys the land, we still don't have the final home of the homestead. Not even close. Though before we build a little house together, I can't ignore the name of this land like I did in the first draft of the script, so glad I didn't forget.
That was close.
No wonder this took so long. Anyways, Beecher is the name of one particularly prominent American family from the 19th century. Lyman Beecher was a highly respected minister, abolitionist, and well-quivered father of 13 children, at least 6 of which made great strides in the same causes he strived for. There was a clergyman, a theologian, and another minister, as well as a teacher, a novelist, and a suffragette, most of whom were also abolitionists and authors in their own right. But the most famous among them is Harriet Beecher Stowe, author of a little book, I don't know if you've heard of it, Uncle Tom's Cabin. Yeah, the book's so popular that only the Bible surpassed it in sales that century. This novel, among just a few other things taking credit for it, is credited to have laid the groundwork for the American Civil War. Now, personally, as an uneducated and worse Northwestern rube, I have not read this novel, but maybe there's something to be said when Uncle sees this cabin, okay, no. But I do think that since the first game, the second most famous Beecher, Henry Ward, is the main source of inspiration for Beecher's Hope. Like I said, most of the memorable Beechers were staunch abolitionists, but Henry is famous for having sent Beecher's Bibles to the front lines of the Bleeding Kansas conflict during the mid to late 1850s. These so-called Bibles were actually rifles, sent as reinforcement for the anti-slavery settlers fighting in the Kansas Territory. All of this should paint a clear enough picture of what Beecher means for this property. It was Beecher's hope that one day all men would be free. Therefore, this property is a place where one day, someone who needs freedom will hopefully find it here. Since Beaver Hollow, the Marstons were on the run, whether it was from the law or from the consequences of John's actions. You might not be getting shot at, but if you're still on the run from the shame of your past, then you're not free. Freedom means settlement. It means honesty with yourself.
Mr. Marston. Only folk around here call me Milton. It's kind of a joke, I guess.
A joke, huh?
Okay, Jim Milton.
It's John Marston here.
And most importantly, freedom means rest. It also means work, but because you now have the freedom to do the good work, something that John gently reminds Uncle of.
If I overdo it, I'll get a relapse. It's very serious.
Get up or get out. Get up!
Ow! I'm getting up. Oh, no, wait, what did I have to tell you?
The old coot then remembers news of an old face.
Charles Smith is alive, I reckon.
Charles Smith alive? Really?
I reckon.
And with no hesitation, they both head out to find him. When they do, Charles Smith is found to have been throwing fights for a few dollars. This reunion, though, gives Charles a good reason to fight to win, and John can place a bet on it, like he already has with the fight for his family's future.
Sure, I'm a fan of the wolf. Give me a bet on him.
have I got a treat for you. An epic battle between the descendant of ancient warriors and a not-so-noble savage.
Pretend he's Micah!
So they get him out of there and they ride back to Beecher's Hope.
Hold on.
Which is still a shack in shambles. A fact that doesn't seem to bother John, thinking it only needs a few touch-ups.
The house has gotta go. Get some self-respect, you miserable sack of shit. Build a house a lady'd set foot in.
The place just needs a woman's touch.
It needs leveling. No woman would touch this place.
Without Uncle, John would have had to present this outhouse to Abigail, no doubt leading to another argument over moral impotence. Uncle is therefore the hero of the entire game. But seriously, his insight led them to Charles, who's essential in building the home, as well as defending it both times. The first time along the route from Manzanita Post, and the second when saving Uncle. Uncle was essential for building John's home, and Charles was essential for securing it. Physically, that is. From the latest, and still not the final gang John will encounter, the Skinner brothers.
Whoa! Everyone find some cover!
How you hold
Where'd that come from? That the last of them?
I think so. There's more. They got the tools. They grabbed Mr. Wayne.
Charles, I found the tools. Now, where's Mr.
All right.
Shit. I thought this kind of bloodshed was meant to be over with.
This kind of bloodshed is different. Folks have been killed, sure. For good reason and bad. But rarely just for the fun of it.
The Skinners are yet another reflection of their past, but this time the 3 Vanderlyn gang members are now the innocents in this dynamic.
I met a fella said the Skinners rode down about 2 years ago. They're just angry men on a rampage, and we got in their way.
Sort of like we used to be?
Yeah, exactly like we used to be.
The good civilized life is still threatened by the kind of men these men used to be. It turns out the price of this land is more than the bank debt. As evidenced by the last chapter, the life of decent folk is fraught with frequent friction. If the dysentery doesn't get you, the desperados will. So what if John goes after them? This whole time I've failed to mention Sadie Adler, the first friend from the gang that John meets should he respond to her telegram first. In the past some years, she's become the ending of that one episode of Quantum Leap.
She becomes one of the best bounty hunters in the business.
And because of that, Sadie offers a few bounty jobs for John. The first of which is easy peasy. The second, they get the drop on the bounty stealers, but still have to go through a gauntlet of guys with guns. When Uncle comes along to purchase the materials for the barn, Sadie just so happens to be there and just so happens to have another job too dangerous for just herself, even though in practice it's just one man hiding in a barn.
Yeah, that's him.
Ramon Cortez. He's with the Del Lobo gang.
Yeah?
You head back down to where we was, New Austin, you're bound to run into them.
Are they Mexicans?
Some, and some Californios, and some regular Americans too. They're a misfit bunch.
Just like we were.
On this mission, John foreshadows how he will fight his past in the next game. From being an outlaw himself, part of a notorious gang of misfits, to going after another outlaw of another notorious gang of misfits. This irony is probably why John addresses the money Ramon kept offering the bounty hunters, which makes sense given Marston's bounty and how much debt he has to account for.
It's an odd thing, isn't it? We'll take $200 from a sheriff who might be crooked himself to go get a bounty, but we won't take $2,000 from an outlaw just to let him go.
If that kind of offer is tempting to you, then go right ahead.
I never said I was tempted by it. I just said it was an odd thing. How we'd take money from one, but not the other.
I got a reputation for honest work.
So, everyone with a price on their head deserves it, you think?
Sure. No, I don't know, usually.
John is already doing the work that he will do in the year 1911, and weirdly enough, it's for the exact same reason, to secure his family. At Beecher's Hope, John Marston has come full circle. And as viewer Jay Blake pointed out with Beaver Hollow, the Vanderlyn gang started the game in the mountains, going southeast to Horseshoe, more south and more east into Clemens Point, and even more southeast into Shady Belle, then up north to Lake Hay, to way up north to Beaver Hollow, going in a counterclockwise direction. The gang was trying to reverse the clock, to go backwards in time, to a time when they were thriving. But they could not complete the loop. They couldn't make it back to Blackwater. But John made it.
John made it. He's the only one.
He didn't just make it to Blackwater. He made it past Blackwater. He's beyond it. Who knew that the way to get the money back from Blackwater was simply to walk up and ask for some? By proving himself at Pronghorn Ranch and rightly fighting for the land, John Marston secured for his family a half-decent home.
What the hell? You're...
You always did have that fine way with words.
Abigail and Jack return to their provider. He's proven himself, now being able, as the player, to do farming chores that, when the eggs and the milk are placed on the cart, they can be sold for... how much are we getting paid for this?
$8. Wow.
Yeah, see, it's a half-decent house. It's sturdy, but underdecorated. The farm is working, but barely. They're still scraping by, managing to make it all work. Still, John is a better father, and he did do right by Abigail.
So you happy?
I think so.
And I did good?
You did good.
So... am I forgiven?
Never.
Nothing gets forgiven. Hard woman. Nothing gets forgiven.
Ma! Pa! Come out here!
Sadie.
Sadie Adler finally sees the house and stays for supper, offering John another job.
My husband, he ain't looking for that kind of work.
Took on a lot of debt when we bought this place.
And you're working for her to pay it off?
Yes, sometimes I was.
But I thought we said no more of that.
No, you said that. What else am I gonna do?
This is the other half of the reasons why this home is only half decent. There's still tension between the couple about the kind of work they're willing to conduct.
It's hunting down fools for the government. Easy. Even Jack could do it.
Don't you put those stupid ideas in the boy's head. He's gonna do something better than this.
Like what? Writing silly stories?
I'm sorry, Abigail. Really, I am. I just thought if you wanted to earn some money...
How many times do I gotta bury you, John Marston?
Never. You ain't never burying me. It's legal work that I can handle.
What is it?
Some fella robbed his business. You know, an accountant or something. Came down from Rhodes, I believe.
How much does it pay?
It pays good. Well, the soft ones usually do.
Okay, then.
Now, this should be the easiest bounty to turn in, but it's, ironically, canonically, the one where John was closest to death, narrowly surviving this grizzly bear, which somehow also survived them.
I think he's gone.
Fucking monster.
You all right, John?
Yeah. Just... we always find a way to almost get killed, don't we?
Mm-hmm. That's kind of the problem.
Each bounty Sadie offered John turned out to be tougher and more dangerous than the last. No matter how well the path of violence makes money, high reward always comes with high risk. It may feel like the path of decency and kindness is unfruitful and unproductive, but a random visit in the day proves otherwise.
It's the Geddes boys.
From Pronghorn Ranch?
Yeah.
Abe and Duncan stopped by with a wagon loaded with furniture.
Sir, Ma found some old furniture in the attic. Pa thought maybe you folks would want it as a housewarming present, you know? They send their regards.
How kind they are. Tell your mom and Pa we're very touched.
This is real kind of y'all.
You saved the ranch. Pa said this is the least he could do.
John's loyalty to their family proved his loyalty to his own. He enriched his own house by enriching another household. By being a blessing, He and his family have been blessed. Evidently, the good life pays off.
Evidently.
Which is possibly the driving factor for why John wants to join Abigail in town.
There's still some more things that we need to get.
How about we take a ride into town? It's been ages since we spent any time together.
It has. Let's go get the wagon.
As much as John disagrees with Abigail about how much risk he should be taking, John genuinely loves his wife. So much so, he's willing to make it official. After a photo and a film, John leads his wife to the water.
Let's go down to the lake for a minute.
The lake?
Sure.
Why, you finally gonna drown yourself?
In a manner of speaking, I guess I am. Happily so.
You're acting real strange.
No, I'm not. Come on.
You're a silly man, John Marston.
If you're asking something, just ask it.
Will you... Will you marry me?
Get up. I am married to you.
No, I mean proper. In front of God.
You serious?
I got this ring. I've had it for a long time. Take it.
You serious?
It would make me very happy if you would...
We've lived a lot of lives.
Let's just live this one from now on.
I didn't know it mattered to you.
It didn't. But now it does. If you think this is dumb, I'm sorry.
Shut up, you silly man, and kiss me.
John enjoys this joyful moment with his official fiancée, taking the extra step on the one knee to be formally committed to her, their son, and their ranch. The house is finally furnished. The home is finally happy. Or is it?
Deep inside, he missed the dragons almost as much as they gave him nightmares. He and Princess Brea raised 7 happy children, and none of them ever knew that their father had once been the bravest warrior in the world. The end.
One day, John will walk into his house listening to Jack finish the story of Sir Galsworthy, a fabled knight who rescued a princess from a dragon. Soon after, Sadie Adler returns to the ranch with news of another serpent.
I found him. I found Micah.
No.
But I gotta go now. You coming?
No.
Abigail's disapproval is immediate and ignored by John, who insists that he must do this.
Yeah, I'll ride with you.
No, I'm begging you. No! You risk all this? For what? For Micah?
All this wouldn't exist if it weren't for Arthur, Sadie, and all the folks that fell. If I let him go, this place ain't no more real than one of Jack's dragons.
I'm begging you.
And I'm begging you to understand. This is it. This is...
Please.
Please try to... I ain't got no other choice. Keep an eye on the place for me.
Of course.
Please.
Let's go kill this son of a bitch then.
American Venom is the mission that ties everything together. Every theme, every arc, and every connection from the second game to the first game. Beginning with a fantasy tale about settling down after slaying a dragon is quickly demonstrated to be the obvious parallel with Micah Bell. Though before we climb that mountain, let's remind ourselves as to why we're doing this.
There's something else.
What?
Micah.
Micah?
I think so. We always said, if we found him...
I know what we said we'd do. That ain't changed. You said earlier you knew something about Micah. You gonna tell me what you know?
Are you sure you want to hear about him? Ain't all that back at your ranch enough? If I find him, I will handle it.
Your bounties or transport work, that's your decision to bring me along or not. But Micah, that's something I I gotta do, with or without you, Sadie. You know what I mean?
Okay. I know.
This is John's own doing. In fact, it is the only mission out of all of them from both games where John Marston does something in the story that he wants to do, without any financial, familial, or governmental incentive and coercion. This is his conviction, his decision. Everything else had some other applicable purpose or excuse behind it, but this time, it's simply because he wants to do it. Visiting Sadie and Valentine came with money promised. Finding Charles, that was Uncle's suggestion. Saving Uncle from Skinner's or Jack from a bear are certainly things he'd want to do, but because those acts are necessary. Even proposing to Abigail, granted, an obvious want, is still a need if he wants to do right by his family. He wants to do those things because he knows that he needs to do them. But he did not need to pursue Micah. There's no money promised, no bounty for Micah's head. There was money later, but that is a surprise, not an incentive. Plus, there is no retaliation to be had, since Micah didn't threaten to come down to do harm to his family. This is purely an act of unimpeded revenge. Though to be fair, Micah does deserve it.
It's not revenge he's after. It's a reckoning.
But is that what Arthur died for?
We owe this to Arthur.
You think Arthur cared about revenge? I'm not so sure, especially not at the end.
He cared about stopping Micah, and that's what we're doing.
Sadie's excuse is what keeps them on their quest to Strawberry, where they find the rat-faced former associate of the rat, Cleet. As a convenience, he's been written to have a justification for these three old friends of his hanging him.
One of his boys wanted for murdering a woman.
Eventually, they eke out the information.
He's up in the mountains. I think he's up in Mount Hagen. You got a whole gang now.
And they go about their nothing business, just personal.
He's done.
Thank you.
The journey takes more than a day to complete. They camp to rest and they keep going until they reach the mountain and Charles is out of the fight. As the remaining pair climbs, soon Sadie will be out of the fight, somehow surviving the 7-inch knife wound, leaving John to make his lone assault on the Serpent's lair, slaying wave after wave of anything but a so-called tight crew of 5 or 6 men. Micah had apparently grown past his previous preferences and allowed ego to overtake him like it had with Dutch. John will dispatch these men and descend, down, to the same cabin viewed from the mission, Who the Hell is Leviticus Cornwall? All the way back in Chapter 1, the one where they rob Cornwall's train, an action that was also argued against by the second-in-command, an action insisted upon by the leader.
What choice have we got?
One that, in spite of the monetary gain, led to the ultimate loss of their family structure, because it got the attention of the very same government-funded people they were trying to avoid this entire time. Exactly like American Venom. John Marston returns, relapses, down to the same place he was at the start of the game. Up in them mountains. As everyone knows, a rat scurries by the cabin, and John will turn his back for a second, where the real rat must have quickly slipped out of the door just to make it seem like he appeared from nowhere.
Come out!
Hello, Scarface. Did you miss me?
Not much.
How's that, whore of yours?
She's good. Didn't reckon I should waste my time killing you. But I felt different.
So it seems.
Their brief talk ends with Micah threatening to visit the rest of his family. Almost as if his threat all them years ago with Arthur was empty talk then.
After we're done, I'm gonna kill Marston too.
And is serious talk now.
Well, maybe after all this is over, I'll go pay her a call. And the boy.
Meaning, if John fails, his family will suffer the immediate consequences of Micah. Forget dying. John announcing to the world where his family is are the real stakes here. Stakes that John didn't have to instigate. And, as Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you do take if you're Micah. Throughout the shootout, neither man can overtake the other. But then the fight changes when Sadie somehow shows up, and it changes even more when someone else reveals themselves.
All manner of folk paying social calls.
Hello, son.
Now, what were you saying?
And now John is in the worst position possible. 2 guns trained on him, a dear friend held hostage, and his own family at risk if this goes down the way it looks like it's about to go down. But notice what Dutch says.
What are you doing here, Dutch?
Same as you, I suppose.
Dutch came to do the same. And while they argue about faults and betrayals, John makes it clear,
killing me won't solve nothing!
Put down your gun, Marston!
Someone else needs the killing. John had come here to slay the dragon, and in the lair he found his father, the one who was ensnared and mentally enslaved by the dragon all those years ago, the one directly orchestrating the downfall of everything they once held dear. No one, not even Arthur, could get through to Dutch. The only way to release the chokehold of the snake was for Dutch to make the first move removing it.
You shot me. You shot me pretty good.
And almost as if with permission, the brave knight then delivers the final blow to the dragon.
Thank you.
Dutch then leaves, free from the dragon's influence, off to descend into the shell of the man he becomes in the first game. But for now, at least, he's detached from that demon. John has freed his father from the underworld. This mission is so archetypical of epic heroic tales, Jordan Peterson would be clipping through the walls if he ever hears about it.
John cleaned his room and killed the dragon, the absolute son of a...
And that's not even the final epic aspect, for John discovers inside the cabin a chest filled with treasure. The same treasure lost all them years ago, now in the clutches of John Marston. Despite the risk and the actualized injuries, John, Sadie, and Charles made it out alive, with their lives intact and spoils up to their eyes.
It's over, Abigail. It's all over.
The adoring couple go from common law marriage status to God recognizes us marriage status. Meanwhile, the former Pinkerton and underling of the real Mr. Milton, Agent Ross, investigates the whereabouts of the runaways he lost in the gang's breakdown. As the Marstons dance in the wedding, Ross and Fordham decipher the footsteps of the soul responsible for taking down Micah Bell, eventually tracking him to the homestead in Beecher's Hope, leaving them alone for later. Had John not insisted on looking back, he might have lived the life of Sir Galsworthy in Brea, a great farm with many kids. But because he ascended the wrong mountain, his life will soon descend into darkness as the overcast of government rains on their parade in 4 years' time. Now, John is an even greater victim of what Ross does to him, since the feds likely confiscated all that treasure. When John Marston says people don't forget, nothing gets forgiven, he's not really talking about the law. He's talking about himself. John could not forgive. Therefore, John could not be forgiven. Why should we expect otherwise? The victory of the second game becomes the tragedy in the first game. That is the epilogue. The perfect transition from Red Dead Redemption 2 to Red Dead Redemption. Every arc of every character accounted for, every established theme now harvested or now planted for the future harvest. But if I am being honest, while the transition is perfect, the epilogue's gameplay features aren't quite so perfect for me. Sometimes it's an inconsistent line of dialogue, like telling Sadie how I took up bounty hunting when I hadn't, or Sadie somehow knowing Uncle's with me when I hadn't told her yet. But personally, the biggest problem I have with this section of the game is the lack of some features that I would have wanted at the ranch, namely not being able to harvest from your own livestock hides and meat, forcing you to have to steal from other farms if you didn't deliver enough hides to the trapper beforehand. There's also dinner time, which is a great element, immersive in theory, but in practice it's a little weird.
Hey!
Hey, sir.
Oh, hey, Uncle.
Hello there.
Good time for a rest?
It's always a good time for a rest, J.M.
You know, I had a feeling you'd say that.
Okay, take care.
If there were pre-written scenes of dialogue designed for this time, it wouldn't feel so awkward. But little things like this are ignorable when it comes to the achievement Rockstar made with this epilogue. Extra dialogue for dinner and some kind of food donation system like before would be nice, but it feels wrong to ask for more when they've already given us so much already. The chores are immersive and plentiful. It's not like they skimped out.
Is that everyone?
But you wanted more?
Besides, what we needed was not endless encounters on the farm. What we needed was closure, justice, continuity. And this epilogue delivers these things absolutely perfectly. Beecher's hope makes sense, Uncle's presence makes sense, and most importantly, John's journey from 2 to 1 makes sense, because he didn't listen to Arthur's advice, his plea, because John, almost akin to Lot's wife, looked back at the destruction of an old corrupt way of life. The first game's story was set in motion. Moreover, Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt, and John was salty for the entirety of the first game.
Very funny.
He could have left Micah alone, but then where would we be? As much as I wish for John Marston as a man to have listened to Arthur Morgan, this ending wouldn't have happened. And this ending is perfect. The question is, where do we go from here? Do we march right into Red Dead Redemption 1 and see the consequences of John coming up for air? Or shall we come back around and continue this mega-analysis of Red Dead Redemption 2, finding and following the other strings of this massive mandolin of meaning? I think that it's best to keep digging, as mapping out the mine doesn't mean we've exhausted all the veins, and I believe the next area to carve out are the characters, every single present and mentioned gang member, one by one, practical contribution by thematic contribution, which is at least 20 more videos, so there's more to come. But for now, I'm going to look into compiling these chapter analyses together in one large video, but with updated, higher quality footage. Since this playthrough was being made as I made each video, so some of the footage from earlier chapters are from other channels and some at pretty low resolutions. Plus, you guys were keen on pointing out a decent amount of mistakes and technical errors, so I plan on rewriting, nuancing, or otherwise ironing out those previously imperfect moments. Like when I said Guarma was not on the way to Tahiti. Technically wrong if you're leaving from the east side of the country, but know this, I never ever seek to intentionally add flaws or rage bait just to boost the comments and thus the algorithm. That shit disgusts me. Making a hat appear from thin air, that's great, that's funny, but implying that Guarma was in the Pacific Ocean, that's on me. So if I'm going to make a re-upload, it's going to be higher quality than before, and all 27,000 plus of you have inspired me to a higher standard, and I thank you for that. Lastly, I'd like to take a short pause on the Red Dead analyses, no longer than a month, but I hope to cover other media on my mind to see if I can gauge interest for the other games and films that I'm into. That said, I will always take your takes, insights, and feedback as sacred. In fact, I'm impressed by your comments, especially when we disagree. You've been respectful and insightful, and I'm honored to facilitate these discussions. After all, that is the point of this channel, to understand the things that don't matter, so we're better equipped to comprehend the things that do. Stay jolly. I'll see you next time.
John built his house, cleaned his room, and killed the dragon, the absolute son of a bitch! The absolute son of a bitch!
Well, there's your end card.